Hello and welcome to this episode of the Print on Demand Playbook Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Bonark, here with my co-host, Kerry Egeler. And in today's episode, we are doing our first ever seven-figure clothing brand breakdown featuring the super popular online apparel brand Holstrength. This is a seven-figure faith-based premium gym apparel brand launched just in January of 2021. We are going to be taking a look at their brand, their products, their website, and their marketing to see what they are doing so well so that you can take inspiration from them to grow your brand. But first, real quick, before we begin, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast. It really helps us reach new listeners and it helps you never miss an episode. Thank you so much. We are so glad you're here. And just before we hop in, here's a quick word from this episode's sponsor.
This podcast is brought to you by Gelato, the world's largest print-on-demand network. Gelato enables individuals ranging from e-commerce entrepreneurs to artists and creatives to establish their own global business. The magic of Gelato is that they focus on local production. The item being delivered is produced in the country that the order is placed almost 90% of the time, leading to many benefits such as lower costs, faster delivery times, and most importantly, reducing carbon emissions. The focus on tech to knit together over 130 production facilities across 32 countries is truly unique. Thanks to this, they currently have the highest customer satisfaction score in the print-on-demand industry on Trustpilot. To check them out for yourself, go to sixfigurefounder.com/gelato and use the discount code PODPlaybook, all capital letters, to get 60% off your first order when placed within 72 hours. That's the number sixfigurefounder.com/GELATO. You can also find the link and discount code in the podcast show notes or in the video description on YouTube.
Hello and happy Friday, everyone. Kerry, man, how the heck are you?
Bro, I'm doing great. I'm buzzing because we just came off of the Grow Your Brand Workshop 2-day live event. Yes. Oh my gosh, dude. These things are always so much fun, but actually this is our second one. So it just exceeded expectations, brought a ton of value to people. We had over 650 people register for the workshop, which is crazy. More than double what we had the first time. I definitely want to say a huge thank you to our Print on Demand Playbook podcast listeners. You guys registered, showed up. That was so awesome to see you guys, get to meet some of you guys and talk to you guys, which is so cool. I know you probably want to say something about it, so go ahead.
Yes. So this was our first ever public
That's right.
Grow Your Brand workshop. We had only done it. We just did a soft, we did a private workshop a couple months ago. That was the first one we ever did, invite only. And this one, we just opened the floodgates and man, people showed up. It was crazy. So cool having so many people, meeting so many listeners. And I just couldn't believe how many people showed up. What's crazy, Kerry, that we should mention is that we didn't run a single ad, no paid ads to promote this event. This is a true testament to the power of organic marketing and email marketing.
Yeah,
that's really, we talked about it on the podcast. We promoted it on social media organically, and we sent out emails to our email list. That is how we got all these members. And I hope that people can take some inspiration from that for their business, because that's the power of organic marketing and email. This is something that we always try to teach people. Use social media to drive cold organic traffic to your website, collect emails, and then remarket to people. It's the same strategy, man. It's just a service instead of a physical product. And the other thing that go ahead. I
was just going to say that we also want to say a huge thank you to you if you joined Six Figure Founder. We've got a new, I shouldn't say new, a lot of new members to Six Figure Founder. And so that's our coaching program. And so if you're a listener of the podcast, you came to the workshop, you joined our Six Figure Founder program, welcome. We're so glad that you're a part of what we're doing. And I know I speak for Carlos as well, who's our third coach in the program, that he's pumped to have you here. And we're excited to see you grow. We're excited to see you grow your business. And if you're somebody who missed the event, you didn't join Six Figure Founder, it is closed right now. We got it, closed down for new members. We had our first group come in, which was that smaller kind of private group. And then we opened to the public. Crazy amount of people joined Six Figure Founder. And so now if you've been listening and you're like, I didn't make it in, just use the link down in the show notes or in the description on YouTube. You can still join the wait list. That way, the next time we open it up that you'll have a chance to join.
Yeah. Yeah. And we did have a lot of listeners attend, which is just so cool. You know what that means, right, Kerry?
No,
that means that people actually listen to our podcast.
Yes.
It means we actually have listeners.
Yes. It's a good feeling.
Sit here having conversations back and forth, and it's so much fun, but it's always just us when we're recording. So sometimes you forget that, this is open to everybody. Everyone can listen, and it's almost like having a seat at the table with us having these conversations. So I just love our listeners so much. I love our community so much, and I cannot wait to just help all these new Six Figure Founder members grow their business.
Yes.
So hopefully in the future, we can start bringing some on, because we're already seeing some awesome results from a number of our members. So it'd be really cool in the future to bring them on. But why don't we transition just before, unless there was anything else you want to say, Kerry?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I want to hear this review.
Cool. Yeah. So
thank you guys for the reviews. Amazing reviews.
Yes. So we're going to share a review. We always like to shout out our listener reviews. So this is from Apple Podcasts. And this review is coming to you from Milani Lover. I don't know if I said that right, but
pretty
cool
awesome
name.
to me.
Yeah. So Milani, what's that?
You got to rate the name. I'm going to give that one a 7.5 out of 10. Milani Lover.
That's legit. That's legit.
I mean, what's my favorite? My favorite has to be
Baba Witch.
Baba Witch is pretty good.
That one was.
Come on, Valwini. I don't know. Valwini might still be my reigning champ. Okay. All right. Keep it going.
Man, there's so many good ones. It's like so many good names that it's like, oh man, it's a thing. It's a thing. Our listeners have awesome names. It's just, I don't know. All right. So here's what Milani Lover says. Hi, I am new to POD and I'm very grateful I came across your podcast. Thank you for sharing these tips. I'm excited to see you grow, so I hope you continue. Well, thank you, Milani Lover. We also are excited to grow and spread the good word and get, help people grow their business and improve their print-on-demand t-shirt and apparel businesses. So thank you so much. Please keep the reviews coming in. They're really inspiring for us. We love reading them. They always make our day when we get a new review. And we're going to continue shouting you guys out because you guys are awesome. So without further ado, Kerry, are you ready to do this?
I'm ready, dude. Let's go. Let's go.
So this is going to be a super cool episode. And we kind of hinted at this back a couple episodes before. We were asking you guys, the listeners and our Six Figure Founder members, if they would be interested in us breaking down successful clothing brands. And we got really good reception. A lot of people said that they would love that. They would love to see the breakdown and kind of see what's working, the secret sauce, lifting the hood on these brands and what they're doing. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Today, we are doing a 7-figure clothing brand breakdown on like my brand crush. I'm not even kidding.
He's not kidding. You talk about this brand. You talk about this brand all the time.
I talk about this brand all the freaking time. The brand is Holstrength. So this is just such a clever brand. And I just want to really quickly say, like, if Holstrength is listening, we need you guys on this podcast. Like, if you guys hear this episode and you guys are interested in coming on the podcast as a guest, we would love to pick your brain and to share your knowledge and everything you guys are doing with our community, because I think people get so much value out of it. So I'm guessing they're never going to hear this, but hey, it's always worth a shot, right?
Hey, listen, no, don't share this episode. If you're watching on YouTube or on podcasts, like, share this out. Let's get it out on social media so we can try to get it to the Holstrength owner. I don't know the guy's name. Do you know the guy's name? I've
I do
seen the
not
ads. I know what he
the-
looks like. I don't know his actual name though.
I know it's started by two brothers, but I don't know their names.
They're pretty awesome. I've seen the ads from. I know one of the founders at least is in the ads.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also want to
So
say real quick before we jump in.
Yeah.
Let us know if you enjoy this type of content because this is like
Yes.
this is kind of a new format, right? Like we're usually going through tips, top tens, all this kind of stuff. So this is kind of a different format. We're gonna break this down, and I'm pumped because I got in here just banging out a couple notes in preparation. Some cool stuff. I'm excited to share.
Cool. Well, yeah, let's jump in. In this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to break down 4 different categories: brand, designs, website, and marketing. So what we want to do is we just want to go through each of these categories, discuss, kind of see what we're seeing, explain a little bit more about them and what they're doing, and then kind of give kind of our feedback and critique, I guess you could say, along the way. So let's just start with the first category, and that is brand. So I want to share 2 things. I want to share the about Holstrength, because I think this is just awesome. And I also want to share their story, because everyone probably knows already that story is extremely powerful, and a lot of people buy from brands because of their story. They hear the story and they want to support that brand, and it can actually be a huge differentiator. A lot of times you see brands that are promoting products that you see other places as well, but because they have such a powerful story, that's kind of the difference maker for a lot of people, and they can create a very passionate community around people that are just drawn in by their story. So I'm just going to read the about Holstrength so everyone kind of gets an idea of who we're talking about here. So here we go. Stemming from the words holy and strength, a decisive term for deriving your strength and validation from God. True strength that cannot be taken away because it comes directly from the cross. We uphold a set of core values in life. We stand up for what we believe in. We fight temptation. We are decisive, passionate, and aggressive in our pursuit of faith. We strive to negate the false ego and pride that at best is a thinly fake version of strength. We do not seek validation from others or from the rest of society. Our lives have been validated by God from the day we were born, and that is all of the security we need. We understand our self-worth, yet are never content with stagnancy. There is a fire that burns within us to strive to become a better version of ourselves each day, to set an example, to break down barriers, overcome obstacles, and be a leader in society, representing what it means to be a real, powerful version of who we are meant to be. We represent the truth of the cross that Jesus died on for us, and there is nothing stronger than that. Dude.
Yeah, it's so powerful. It's like,
man, that's powerful. I was like getting butterflies reading it, and I didn't write it.
Yeah, and like whoever wrote this, maybe one of those brothers, like it's just so it's so like powerful is one way to describe it, but it's so like
authentic
and specific. Like it's very clear. It's very like it grips you, you know, and yeah, it's really, really good based on what the community they're trying to build, the cause they're trying to support. I mean, it's like, it definitely, if you resonate with that, like if you're in their target, you know, if you're their ideal customer, like it's pretty intense, powerful.
Dude, it was powerful is like the one word I would use to describe that. Anyone reading that, like if you are a Christian who lifts, that is going to connect.
Yeah.
And this is what I love about their brand. Like 10 out of 10 points for niching down. All right. This is a brand for Christians who lift. There are so many Christian apparel brands out there. And I think there's a lot of really, really awesome ones. And I actually think there is so much potential in the Christian niche. But what I really respect about this brand is that they were actually able to differentiate from pretty much every other Christian brand. I actually don't know a single other brand that targets Christians who lift. Do you, Kerry? Do you know anyone else?
I do. There's one called 3 Nails, like 3 Nails Clothing.
Okay.
In my research of Holstrength, I actually found them, which I've actually gotten their ads before just because of my snooping on Holstrength.
Yeah.
But I think by my estimates, and we'll get into this in a minute, but I think by estimates, their next biggest competitor is about a fourth. It's about 25% as big as them. So it's still a decent sized brand. They're like their biggest competitor, but they're not even close to Holstrength. Like Holstrength is by far the pioneers of this niche. And I would venture to say that 3 Nails like probably started after them because of Holstrength and probably was like, oh, let's copy what they do. You know what I mean? So not to knock 3 Nails, they're crushing it, but yeah,
you see that quite a bit when someone, when you find a niche that's doing really well, a lot of times you'll have kind of, I don't know if imitators is the right word, but like competitors enter the space. That's totally to be expected.
And it's actually like, maybe we can get into this later, but their clothing, 3 Nails is like, it's pretty similar. It's pretty similar. Like they're kind of the aesthetic they're going for in some of the designs. Anyways, we can get into that a little bit later. It's
premium activewear. Oh, wow. Yeah, they really are created for the athletes who represent the kingdom of God in a modern minimalist fashion. That is very similar.
Well, I was more thinking about like the left chest, like the cross on the left chest. That's Holstrength's kind of thing, But I would say in what you just read, it sounds like they're they're less going for just weightlifting, more just like active kind of workout fitness lifestyle. So maybe there's a little bit different. I don't want to knock them for sure. Anyways, let's keep going.
They look like a super cool brand. Yeah, like cool. Founded by a Christian athlete. Okay. Now we're just getting off topic. We'll have to do a separate episode on that. Yeah. They do look super cool. So we know that there's 2 people in this niche, but guys, come on. Like 2 that we know of, and the countless Christian brands, which there are so many good, awesome ones out there, but I just love that they kind of went a layer deeper in terms of niching down. So I want to acknowledge them for really kind of separating themselves from a pretty crowded niche, even though there's a ton of potential, because there's really passionate people in this niche, and you can totally create a community of raving fans. So the last thing I want to read in terms of brand is I just want to read their story because it's actually really impressive. So just a couple bullet points from their story, and then Kerry, I'm going to turn over to you because I think you've got some fun facts, some stats to drop.
Yes.
But in terms of their story, Holstrength is a family-run business between my brother and I who share a passion for both Jesus and fitness. We started this brand out of our mother's basement in January of 2021. Can you believe that, guys? That was only like, what, 2.5 years ago?
Yeah, 2.5, like right at 2.5.
That's insane. Okay, we started this brand out of our mother's basement in January of 2021 with the goal to create high quality clothing that glorifies Christ. Throughout our journey, an amazing community of people have been brought together, and every day we thank God for the ability to get up and do what we do. Currently, we operate in a small warehouse in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Man, like their story, their purpose, the purpose of this brand, like they're just so dialed in. They're so dialed in.
I also think, so the guy, if you go to their website and you go to the About Us section, the brother that's on the right, he's the guy I keep seeing in the ads. I don't know, the other brother might be in the ads, but I also want to point out these guys that started this brand, these brothers, like they are the ideal customer. They look like their customers. The 100%. Age, they're shredded, just huge muscles. Like they look like athletes. They're wearing their clothing. Like they are the brand, and there's so much power in that. And so many times we start these apparel businesses based off of our own passions and like and so we are the model. So it's like there's something to take there of like a lot of times you can look at yourself when you're trying to figure out who your customer is, what age group, all those kind of like look at yourself. A lot of times you are the ideal customer. Maybe not every time, but a lot of times you are. And these guys are definitely a living example of their brand.
And I mean, I have to say, like, there is a huge advantage when you are your ideal customer. You know how to communicate with them. You know where they're congregating, and you can be the face of your brand. Like one of these founders is kind of the face of the brand, and he's been able to create a 7-figure brand by being the face. Like that really helps when you're creating content. If you can be the person in the videos, if you can be the person in the images, you can just pump out content really fast. And if you look like your ideal target audience, boom, People are going to be like, that looks like me. Like that person looks like me. And they're going to be able to visualize themselves in your products. So I'm glad you brought that up, Kerry, because I think that's so powerful.
All right, I'm going to hit you with some juicy stats.
Placeit.net is the internet's largest collection of realistic mockups, design templates, and so much more. In fact, it's our most used tool as print-on-demand and apparel sellers, and we've been using it almost daily for over 8 years. With the power of Placeit, you can put your designs on products ranging from t-shirts, mugs, hats, bags, posters, and more. Then simply pick the setting and model and generate a high quality, realistic photo mockup that you can use on your website, social media, in your marketing, or wherever you choose. Not only that, Placeit has an incredible design studio to create your next best-selling design. Start with one of the thousands of templates or create your design from scratch in a matter of minutes. Placeit really is like magic with a do-it-for-you type offering, and we believe this is a must-have tool for every print-on-demand or apparel seller. Go to sixfigurefounder.com/Placeit to get 10% off your first month or 10% off an annual subscription. No discount code is required, but you must use our link to get your 10% off. That's the number sixfigurefounder.com/Placeit, or use the link below in the show notes or in the description on YouTube. Thank you so much, Placeit, for sponsoring this episode.
Now we got to keep, these are estimates. These are complete like guesses. So don't take too much out of what I'm about to tell you, but I wanted to provide some estimates on kind of how much traffic they're seeing and potentially like what their revenue looks like. I wanted to go as deep as possible, so I didn't want to just break down what we can see on the surface. Let's go a little bit deeper. So I went and looked up on a few different websites. I looked up their traffic that they're getting to the Holstrength website. And so here's kind of what I came up with. From most websites are showing that they're getting somewhere around 214,000 visits per month to Holstrength. Wow. So within the last like 4 to 6 months, it's consistently over 200,000. So I looked at last month, it's June this month. So in May, they did right around that 214,000 mark. So that means 214,000 visits to their website. Not necessarily like, we're not necessarily talking like individual unique visitors, but 214,000 visitors to the website. So if we assume a 2% conversion rate, which typical Shopify store, it's going to be around 2%. I do want everybody to keep in mind, a lot of stores can get much higher conversion rates. This is just the very typical. If we assume around a 2% conversion rate, and we also assume that they have an average order value of about $55. Now, how did I come up with this number? Again, this is just a guess, but what I looked at is their core products are around that $40 price point. And so my assumption is they're selling 2 or more items pretty frequently. They do have some discount codes floating around, different things like that. So I feel like $55 per order as an average order value is actually pretty conservative. I actually think they're probably much higher than that. They might be over $60. I say that also because I'm thinking about working out, fitness. You're usually probably going to need 2 or 3 of those t-shirts, right? Like you go to the gym, you get sweaty. You're not going to wash it that night. Like you probably want to have a few of these. Most people, I would assume, are buying like multiple items. Plus their marketing is so good. You got to assume they're selling multiple items per order. So we're just going to be conservative. We're going to say around $55 average order value as a guess. So that's going to put them about $235,000 per month in revenue. Wow. And that's going to put them somewhere around $3 million per year in revenue. So that's a guess. I really do think they could be even higher than that, maybe like 4 to 5 million per year, because I think as most e-commerce businesses, around the holidays, Black Friday, Christmas, they're probably crushing these numbers. So, $235K per month is probably like a regular month for them, but they could be pushing $400,000 or $500,000 per month, October, November, December. So somewhere around $3 to $4 million per year. And their demographics, their biggest demographic is 18 to 35, 35 to I think 50 was still pretty high, but not as high as 18 to 35. So their core, demographic is around 18 to 40, right in that range. One more thing I want to add is I did look at 3 Nails, because 3 Nails came up as kind of the biggest competitor, direct competitor. 3 Nails Clothing, if you want to go check them out. By my estimate, the same average order value, all that same conversion rate, it looks like they're doing around $40,000 to $50,000 per month in revenue. Still amazing. Like, kudos to them. But it's crazy to see. I don't know when they started. I think they're newer than, so all those things, we're not knocking them. We're actually applauding them. But just crazy to see how much bigger Holstrength is than their next biggest competitor, averaging somewhere in the range of $250,000 per month, with their next biggest competitor at like $50,000 per month. So that's pretty crazy. So that's what I got on the stats. Your thoughts?
Dude, I have a couple thoughts, but first I want to say I'm on 3 Nails website. Guess what? Founded 2017.
Are you serious?
2017.
No
Founded
way.
in 2017 by a Christian athlete. The mission of 3 Nails is to provide kingdom athletes with premium sportswear that represents their faith and allows them to perform at a high level. So it actually sounds like they were created before Holstrength. But I have to say, both of these guys are nailing it. Pun intended.
No pun intended. Oh, pun intended.
That joke here.
Pun intended. They're nailing it to the cross, baby. Let's go.
Had to say it, man. Had to say it. But these brands are just both so awesome. I almost feel like we should do a separate one on 3 Nails, because it's so good. And I had not heard of them before this podcast, before you mentioned them. But a couple things I want to say about the stats. So I actually heard somewhere that they are making millions per year in sales, Holstrength, that is. So it's totally believable, these estimates, around 3 million per year. It's probably more than that. The demographic definitely sounds right, between like 18 to 35, 18 to 40, because if you just look at their social media, it's always like young-ish people in the gym working out or wearing their cool streetwear out. That is kind of like, I would guess that based on looking at their social media. And
dude, what a couple of ballers that they started 4 years after their biggest competitor and just blew past them. I mean, again, no knock on 3 Nails. We love you. You're awesome. If you hear this, like, we're fans.
We want to bring 3 Nails on too. Like, but, if you hear this, come on.
Looking at their Instagram account, 3 Nails has 99.3 thousand followers.
Which is still very impressive, by the way. Extremely impressive.
Holstrength's at 1.1 million followers. Like, just insane.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. And if I had to guess what one of the reasons, so there's a lot of reasons which we're going to talk about when we get, like, as we kind of break down further, but the one thing that I look at, like, I'm on 3 Nails Instagram right now, and I was looking at Holstrength's Instagram earlier. One thing that Instagram is doing really, really well, and they're doing differently, is they're always posting reels. They've just been posting reels for so long, and they get a ton of views. And as most people know, reels are one of, if not the best way to extend your reach, to reach new people who have never heard of your brand before. And it's something that we encourage people to do.
You're right, dude. There's not a single reel on here. This is crazy.
No, it's a lot of still image posts, which are really nice, really high quality.
But that's not going to bring in new eyeballs.
Right, not like reels will. Not like reels will. And even the reels that they do have, they're averaging about maybe like 8,000 to 10,000 views, which is still really good. But I mean, you look at Holstrength, they've got ones like with over 1 million views. It's crazy. And they've got a really dialed in viral strategy, which I love. And I'm going to talk more about when we get to marketing. But the last thing I wanted to mention based on your stats was just that average order value. And I think you're totally right. Like, easily these guys could be doing $55. I wouldn't be surprised if it was even higher, because they don't just sell one product. Like, you could get an entire outfit from these guys.
Yeah.
They've got like women's sports bras, they've got leggings, they got men's shorts, they've got tank tops, they got t-shirts, they've got socks, they've got weight belts, they've got bracelets. These guys, they've got shaker cups. Like, they've really thought of a lot here. It's very impressive. Mugs, flags, the list just goes on and on and on. So man, I love these guys so much. Like I have such a brand crush. I'm not even joking. But all right, in terms of niche, so I'm gonna give these guys like really, really, really high praise. Pun intended. So,
Oh man.
dude, I'm just thinking these on the spot, man.
Oh,
But
man.
we need like one of those,
Yeah.
insert dad joke here. But in terms of brand, I just want to really give them a shout out for their name. I think their name is very memorable, and I think it's very logical. Holstrength. Before I even knew that it was the two, holy and strength, I assumed it was because that's what it sounds like. Their logo is so good. Like
Can I
if
just
I
point
just
out-
looked at their
can I just
logo,
point
I would
out-
know. Pardon?
I just want to point out that you literally right now, you sound like you're like that boy, like 14-year-old boy that's going on his first date with the really cute girl. And you're literally like, blah, 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 you're like twitching because you love this brand so much.
Oh, dude, like the prepubescent 14-year-old, like acne face kid. That's just
I can't believe
finally
you're
going on his first date.
You're
Yeah,
such a
no,
fan,
dude.
man. You're fangirling so hard. It's like
I
in
was
sync
gonna
or
say
something.
fanboying, but yeah, okay.
It's like you're meeting in sync for the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, keep going.
But their logo, I just love their logo. I think it's so good at like, I think just looking at their logo, if someone was saying, if you look at this logo, what do you think of? It's literally a cross with like a
Weights.
barbell.
Yeah.
It's so clever, so clever. I love their product offering. It's just everything is so on point. It all makes sense. You know, like you could literally totally outfit yourself in their clothes, and they've got a lot of awesome clothes for the gym. And social media, don't even get me started. I think their social media is awesome, and we'll talk about that more in marketing. But Kerry, any final thoughts on their brand before we go to the second section, and that's going to be breaking down the designs?
No, it's just I think one thing I think people should recognize across the whole branding is everything is so simple. It's so simple. Their brand colors, get ready. Their brand colors are black and white. Like black and white. Like pretty much every design is black or white. I mean, there's not a lot. I mean, there's some that have some color, but there's not a lot going on here, listeners. Like
simple website.
You do not have to complicate things. And branding should be simple and just, I mean, it's great. It's great.
Yeah. Simple design, simple website, pretty simple social media, in my opinion. Like their slogan, powered by faith. Come on, man. That's like literally so perfect.
Yeah.
Powered by faith. It's like for Christians who live. It's just, everything just makes so much sense.
From a branding perspective, you know, I think the thing that they're doing really well is, which are we in the brand part? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, we're still talking about brand. Yeah.
Anyways, I think what they are focusing like maybe some of their resources on is the quality mainly of their mock-ups and their like lifestyle images and their content, right? Like even their reels, I think most of them, they're filmed with a high quality camera, like a professional camera. They don't look like they're filmed with iPhone. Right. So that's where they're putting, I'm not saying that you should do that necessarily. I'm just saying that's where they're putting more of their resources is really nice photos, really nice mock-ups, really nice lifestyle, really nice content for social media and that kind of thing. So that's one thing that I noticed.
Yeah, I totally agree. They, I mean, they call themselves a premium brand. They have somewhat premium pricing. So everything's just well aligned.
Yes.
You know, it's, it's just awesome. All right. So the last thing I want to mention that I kind of mentioned already is I just really, really like that they combined two very passionate niches into one. So you've got Christian, very passionate niche. You've got weightlifters or athletes, also very passionate niche. And essentially what they did is they doubled down. They just overlapped the two. And you can tell by their following and, you know, their website, everything, you can tell that they're doing really well.
And you can do this with other niches, right? Like, because the way I always think about it, I don't know why my brain kind of thinks this way, but like, so you have fitness and you have Christians, right? Mm-hmm. You could go to either one of these humongous niches with millions of people, and you can literally draw out the people that are interested in the other thing. So it's like, do you have the Christian niche, right? Well, you're just going to all the Christians in the world or whatever, and you're saying, how many of you like to lift? This is the brand for you, right? And that's how they're, and then the same thing on fitness. You think about your local gym or whatever, there's hundreds of people in there at the gym or whatever on a daily basis. Many of those people are passionate Christians. And so you're pulling that out, right? And marketing to those people that fall into both. And you can do this with tons of different niches. Like think about, another niche, a group of people, let's say it's like teachers. There's millions of teachers, right? And then you think about, well, how many of them are interested in this other thing? And you can pull them out and create this brand for that, right? For specifically teachers that are interested in this other thing.
Dude, I just thought of a niche. Someone needs to steal this idea. Teachers who lift. Teachers who lift. Let's go.
I kept thinking about doctors and nurses. I mean, like doctors who lift. Like that could be one. I love it, but it's
dentists who lift.
It's a really easy one because fitness is and health is one of the biggest categories that you could ever like sell in. So it's like you could almost go into any niche and pull out fitness like that and add fitness to it. Almost anything, which is really cool.
So true.
Yeah,
dude. Clever. So many ways that you can just overlap fitness on another niche and hopefully see results like Holstrength.
Yeah.
You can take a lot of pages out of their playbook if you're going to go that route. So just saying, if you're listening, if you're trying to figure out a niche,
teachers who lift, baby. Teachers
who lift. Let's go.
Teach strength. Knowledge strength.
Dude, that's awesome. Teach strength. That's actually works. That actually really, really, really works.
I don't know about that, but let's keep going.
I would do it. All right, moving on. We're getting too excited over the brand. We're moving on to the second section, and that is designs. So I just want to say a couple things about their designs, and I want to hear your thoughts, Kerry. But one thing you notice about them, we talked about them keeping it simple. Their designs are simple too. So a lot of their designs, they're super simple and many are purely text-based. So I'm looking at one here that has their logo on the front and then on the back it says John 19:30 and it just says it is finished. And then they have the Holstrength branding on the sleeve. Very, very simple for Christians who lift. That's probably pretty powerful. That is probably something that resonates with them. I think Bible quotes can be very powerful for Christians and a lot are very inspiring. So I think that they did a really good job with that. Another thing that I want to point out is they are jumping on special occasions. So not only is it for Christians who lift, but they've got like July 4th kind of patriotic themed apparel as well. I'm looking at one of the designs here and on the front, I think it says, let me just go in here because I see the back of the shirt first. Okay, so it says, "In God We Trust" on the front, and in the back it says, "God Bless America," and it shows their logo, but instead of being like just a solid white logo, it's like red and white stripes and the stars. Like it's like the American flag inspired logo. This is clearly, like we are in June here, this is clearly kind of a July the 4th inspired design. And I just love to see brands jumping on special occasions like that. The other thing I want to say that I mentioned before was their products just make so much sense for their niche. Sometimes you see brands who kind of drop products and you're like, oh, I never really thought of that kind of product for that niche. But these guys, like they've really thought out the products. It's like so many products that are specific to the gym. So they're getting that, but then they're also getting the lifestyle kind of products as well that you could wear out to the streets, like this Jesus is King shirts it's got like a bunch of flowers around it. It's actually really colorful. It's like a floral design that says Jesus is King with the Holstrength logo on the front. So another thing I want to mention is a lot of times you see premium lifestyle brands and all they do is throw their logo. They just slap their logo on everything and kind of expect people to buy it. But these guys don't even do that. Like they do on some things, but if you look at like their t-shirts, most of their t-shirts that I'm looking at have some sort of slogan or like a Bible quote or something on it. So they're actually kind of doing a mix, which I always recommend if you're a premium lifestyle brand, because it's usually slogans that catch people's eye, that resonates with people, and that draw people to your website to see more. And that's where they could see your other products, like maybe the ones that just have your logo on it. But what I find is usually, especially at the beginning, the designs with slogans or something that's like relatable and emotion evoking, those are the ones that perform really well. Kerry, your thoughts?
Do you ever go to the Wayback Machine?
Yeah, actually, I have before.
So that's what I was actually doing right here, because I was just curious. We could definitely dig more on this, but
You share.
I was curious. Like, here's what I was thinking about. I was thinking, if you're out there and you're a new seller, maybe you have a new print on demand or apparel business, or you're thinking about getting into this business, this brand could be a little bit intimidating. It could feel a little bit intimidating because you see all the success and you go here and you think like there's bajillions of these products, like they have so much stuff, shirts, tank tops, shorts, hoodies, joggers, hats, accessories. Then a whole women's, they have sports bras, they have bottoms, leggings, then they have accessories, lifting gear, wristbands, hats, stickers. And my hunch was like, I'm sure that they started just with t-shirts, right? Like that's probably where they started, right?
At least much less of a selection, I'm sure. Yeah.
I want to share my thoughts on the designs, but I also I was just curious about in that vein of like, cause you go to their best sellers, you see all the designs, and then you see the cutoff shirts, and then the shorts, and then the wristbands, and the drinkware, and like the pants, all this stuff. So crazy. The Wayback Machine, I went to the Wayback Machine, typed in Holstrength. If you don't know what the Wayback Machine is, it just allows you to see websites like in the past, what they looked like in the past. So you can go to like eBay and look at 1997 and it just looks insane. It's like, what? So,
and it's just like a snapshot. You can't actually click on things, right? It's like snapshots of websites from the past.
Yeah. So
right?
like with a brand like this is something we should incorporate in future episodes. I just now thought of it, but we could kind of look at the progression of these brands and see like, how did they start? What did it look like when it starts, and what changes did they make? Ooh, so I was able to get a snapshot from April of 2021. That's the very first snapshot on file. And the website looks completely different. It still looks really good because that was only a couple years ago, and it's a solid website, but you can definitely, so one thing I noticed, no social proof at all on the front page, which now they have like bajillions, thousands of social proof.
Amazing social proof. Yeah.
No social proof on the front page. And I also noticed that they don't have any really those like in the gym lifestyle images. They actually look more like they took them in like a photo, like they had like a photo shoot in a house or something, it doesn't look like nobody's lifting in the photos, and they don't look, it's not what it looks like now. But then what you also notice is that they have way less categories. Now I can't quite click into all the different, it just goes page not found if we try to click into all the different categories, but they basically only have men and women. And if you look at like their top products, it's the first one in April. It looks like it's just hoodies and t-shirts. That's it. And their t-shirts look like they're more like tight fitting type stuff, whereas now they're like the oversized type stuff. So it's just cool to see the roots. Like I guarantee they didn't have shorts. They didn't have like the joggers, all that kind of stuff. Like they started with, okay, we're just going to go t-shirts and hoodies. And this is where we're going to start. We're going to expand as we go. And even so I looked at the next Wayback Machine snapshot from October. And so this is, 6 or 8 months after April, which is probably like when they launched. And you can see them starting to expand a little bit. They've got some crop tees and different things like that, right? They've got some tank tops, cutoff tees, different stuff like that. So they're starting to expand. And I'm sure if we keep digging, we could find way more, but we're going to save that for another time. But getting back to my thoughts on their designs really quickly, you covered it all. But if you go to their best-selling designs, like they have a very specific formula for what designs work. Almost every single product, with the exception of just a couple, almost every single design has a left chest of the logo on the front, which is the cross with the weights. It's either black or white as far as the ink on a different colored shirt, and then on the back is a bold kind of proclamation or bold headline with a verse under it. And that headline is kind of the point of the verse, right? They put the Bible verse and the headline kind of is the overall message of the verse. That's essentially what they do 90% of their products. So you can go in here and you can be like, man, that's my favorite verse. That's what I want to tell people at the gym. That's what I want people to see. So I'm going to buy that specific one so that I can wear it because I love that verse, right? Iron sharpens iron, or Philippians 4:13, or they've got Mark 9:23 on here, Ephesians 6:10. Like, you can go in here and see what speaks to you and what message you want to put out at the gym, and you can pick that. So that's essentially their formula, and they have a couple other designs that a little bit different and a few other things, but for the most part, that's it. Like left chest, big back, and they just roll with that, and it works.
Yeah, no. And what I like about that, actually, so I'm just looking at one of their shirts here that says Armor of God in huge letters, and then it has like a Bible verse underneath. What I love about that is if you're scrolling through Instagram and you get targeted with an ad for this shirt, that Armor of God will absolutely catch your eye. Like, it's big enough to see on a mobile device, but the quote probably isn't. So what I like about it is that big text is going to catch your eye. You're going to be like, Armor of God. If you're a Christian, you're going to be like, oh, whoa, like this is like clearly like a Christian brand. And you probably want to read what else it says. So you will actually stop the scroll. It'll be a thumb stopper and you'll probably read the quote on it. So I love that it's big enough to be eye catching. And then the quote, you can, if you just stop, you can read it, maybe even from a mobile device, you could read it pretty clearly. I also really like what you said about kind of like remembering the humble beginnings of brands. Like, we see these brands that are totally killing it, lots of 6 and 7 figure brands. A lot of them are newer, but they weren't always like that. They all started from nothing, just like we did and everyone did and everyone listening to this is. So I just want to like point that out. And it kind of reminded me of something that I remember last weekend. I was doing a 6-figure founder presentation on Instagram growth strategies, and I was talking to our members, and I was like, I had just come back from the Gelato Accelerator Summit, and where I had a chance to meet a lot of 6 and 7 figure print on demand sellers. And one thing that I noticed about them is they didn't have everything figured out. Like, these were highly successful 6 and 7 figure brands that did not have it all figured out. There were so many things missing from their strategy. One of them didn't even have an email capture on their website. Like, they weren't even collecting email addresses. And yet they were still doing really good. And kind of going on to what you were saying, and kind of just is like kind of like a word of inspiration for people listening. Like, do not let yourself get overwhelmed by these brands. They weren't always like this. This was an evolution over time, and your brand will do the same thing. You just need to get started and always commit to be improving incrementally over time. And eventually you can be, you can be a brand like this, but you can get to 6 or 7 figures without everything that Holstrength has. And I think it's important for people to hear that, because you're right, Kerry. Sometimes people look at these and it is intimidating and it is discouraging. And you think, oh, I need to do all this stuff before I crush it. No, you don't. You actually don't. You can keep it really, really, really simple. And we see a lot of really simple brands having a ton of success. So I know I kind of went on a tangent there, but I just wanted to kind of share that with everyone listening. So with that, unless there's anything else around designs, Kerry, why don't we kind of move on to the third section, and that is website.
Yeah, let's move on to website. Last thing I say about designs is just, I think the biggest thing to take from it is just like the simplicity. I mean, it's just so simple. We just always think we have to have these crazy designs. You don't. In fact, that's the opposite. You want simple designs. They sell. Just keep it simple.
It's not even just designs, like simple sells, simple website, simple branding, design, simple social media, simple logo, simple name. Like, these things sell. So yeah.
So moving on to website, there's a lot to. It's interesting. I've literally been sitting here like going through their Wayback Machines, all these different dates, just like looking at the site, and it's crazy how much it's evolved. I got to go back to the now website, but their website's pretty awesome. It is again not complex. It's hosted on Shopify for sure, and it's pretty simple. It's definitely high quality. It looks good, but it mainly is because the branding is so good. So great story, right?
Yep.
We noticed that there's high quality product and lifestyle imagery, which we talked a little bit about earlier. Many images taken inside of a gym or studio. Models look like their ideal customer. That's so important. I see that so often that the models shown on the websites are like not the customers that you would think would shop there, which doesn't really make sense.
Right.
Lots of social proof. This is so huge. I want to get there in just a second, but I want to go back to the high quality product and lifestyle imagery. There was something I was going to say about that. I can't remember where I was going with that.
Maybe that their prices kind of align with the kind of the value that like the perceived value. That's one of the first things I thought was like, they're a premium. They literally call themselves a premium brand. And it really shows like the prices align with that premium persona. And based on the website, it has like these products have a very high perceived value, and I would absolutely not hesitate to pay these prices for their products. I don't even think they're that high. Like I think they could be higher, some of them.
I agree. No, what I was going to say was along that line, did I forget again? I keep forgetting what I was going to, I got it. I got it. I wanted to tell everybody out there, when you're designing a website, the mock-ups and the imagery, like the quality of it, that's like the biggest thing for like a good design. Like when you're designing your website, like there's simple things like picking, just one or two fonts, having, not having like crazy colors, because if you have too crazy of colors, it can clash and everything. But just having number one, like high quality mock-ups and images. And number two, making sure they're all formatted the same size. Man, that will make your website look so professional. So like, if you look at it here, they got a big hero image, boom.
Yeah.
It's wide, right? It's wide, so it takes up the whole screen. Then if you go down, you've got their some of their products. All of the mock-ups are tall and they all match. So they're not like, some of them aren't square and some of them tall and some of them wide. They're all the same, crop. Then you go down to their categories, which is like men's, women's, streetwear. They're all square now, so they all match, right? And so you can literally just go through their website and you can kind of see how they have meticulously made sure everything flows. But it's the simple things of, they've only got one color, black and white. I mean, two colors really, but it's really, everything's pretty much black on a white background. So it's like black and white. They've got high quality images that it looks like they have taken these images and they've kind of molded that aesthetic. They've cropped everything to match, at least on the same kind of viewing level. When you're looking at one section of the page, everything's going to match. That's like all there is to it, right? Like, and it looks so professional, looks so high end. Anything you want to add to that?
This website is so good. So kind of continuing on with what you were saying. So you were kind of like explaining the website from top to bottom, but there's a couple other things that are definitely worth pointing out. So after the collections where you have men's, women's, and streetwear, it goes to our mission. And this is where they talk about the About Us that I read earlier.
This is one of the brothers, right?
Yeah. This is our mission, stemming from the words holy and strength. And, what I read earlier, which is just so powerful. Then underneath there, they have a lifestyle image of, one of the brothers, one of the founders, looking shredded, wearing one of their shirts in a gym, like literally looking like the exact target audience they're going for. Then they talk about an app that they have. Did you see this? They have a training club.
Yeah, and by the way, they did not have that on any, like I looked at like 3 or 4 Wayback Machine images from the first year and they did not have this app. Like they started at least, it's only been, what did we say, 2.5 years, but it took them at least a year to start this app from what I could tell.
Yeah, so it looks like the app, you can download the app. It looks like it has instructional workout videos and then beginner and advanced workout plans. Like, dude, these guys are creating a community and they're creating value, so much value for this community. You do not need an app to create a 6 or 7 figure brand. Let me just say that. But this is a really awesome value add for community building. And what a great way to build community. You're giving workout plans for Christians who lift. It's perfect. And then underneath that, they've got some lifestyle images. You've got customer testimonials with really high quality lifestyle images, which I think is just awesome. And what you notice throughout their website is this is social proof to death. Like, dude, they've got so much social proof on this website. It's not even funny.
If you click the see more reviews button, it pops up 3,589 reviews.
Whoa.
So everyone's aware. Yeah. And they've taken social proof to like the nth degree. And me and Adrian, like we preach this so hard is the social proof. And what's crazy is they take it to like new levels. Like, first of all, their products have a ton of reviews on the actual product. Some of them have as many as like 300 reviews on the product. So on the product page. But another thing I noticed, I don't know if you noticed this, Adrian, is they have this little social proof pop-in thing at the top. Like in the top right, about every, 10 or 15 seconds or maybe 20 seconds, I don't know. They have like another review pop in. It's like this little, like, at least on my screen, it's like popping in and it's a picture and a review. And it's just like forcing me to read the reviews. Like, I cannot hide from the reviews. And it's interesting because that's could be kind of a little bit of a spammy thing, but like that's what they want you to get is they want you to see the reviews and the social proof because they know the power of it. And so many sellers, I would say the majority of sellers do not focus or use social proof like they need to.
Right. Yeah. I mean, clearly it's working for them. So kudos. And yes, I would say that the majority of stores we see are lacking social proof. And it's something that we always tell our students, like get social proof, because it really does. It's statistically proven to help with conversions.
Yeah.
So, I just, and like so much user generated content. They've got so many photos of these customers actually wearing their products, which is even stronger social proof than just the review itself. So you've got customer reviews, you've got user generated content, then they got like lifestyle imagery, and it's just really, really solid. Okay, to buy from this website, I would trust it so much. And that is a big reason why a lot of people hesitate to purchase from a newer brand is because they're lacking, they need to build trust. It's kind of our job as newer brands to build trust and to make people comfortable to purchase from us. But these guys have I don't want to say overdone it because I don't know if you can ever overdo social proof, but they've made it a very comfortable and like easy decision to purchase from them, I would say.
Exactly.
Cool. All right. Well, let's move on from website. We could talk about website all day, but let's move on to the fourth and final section that we're going to talk about, and that is marketing. I want to say this is an area where they really shine, but dude, like these guys shine on every level. It's not even funny. But I would say, so just so everyone listening knows, I just want to kind of share their numbers here on social media. And I'm going to focus on Instagram and TikTok because I definitely think those are their two primary acquisition channels. I'm thinking maybe TikTok, and then they repurpose a lot of it for Instagram because that's where they have their biggest following. On TikTok, they have over 1.6 million followers. 1.6 million followers, a apparel brand for Christians who lift. Dude, like that's so impressive. And you look at the views, like 45,000 views, 18,000 views, 39,000 views, 2 million views. Like they're just 333,000 views. They're killing it on TikTok. Then you look at their Instagram, 1.1 million followers, like you mentioned earlier. That's also extremely impressive. And keep in mind, this brand only started in January of 2021. This is very inspiring. This should be very inspiring for everybody listening. Like, it just blows my mind how much success they've had. And what I think is really cool, I'm looking at their Instagram and they pinned a couple of their videos to the very top. Guess what the first pinned video is? Watch our brand grow out of our mom's basement and move into our own warehouse. So they're bringing their customers on their journey. Dude, that's so powerful stuff.
So good.
Very powerful. And then they've got another video, and it's one of the founders, and he's like packing an order. He's like printing and packing an order. This is just, and then we asked our community, what does Holstrength mean to them? That's the third pin post. Like, they've got it figured out, man. These guys got social media dialed in. And there's a couple things. Oh, go ahead.
I just thought we talked to so many founders of, apparel businesses and everything in our programs and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, most people, I'm not trying to call anybody out, but most people are like super scared to put themselves out there, on social media like these guys are. And I have to continually preach, like, there's so much power in doing that. There is so much power. People want to relate to you as the owner. They want to connect with you. They want to see your story, your journey. Like these guys, man, people are just like, dude, if they can do it, I can do it. Like seeing that journey, and it like, you want to support that when you see like two dudes just out of their mom's basement building this brand. Like, you want to be a part of that. You want to support that. But so many people are so scared of sharing that. And like, man, I just encourage you to like get out of your comfort zone and share that kind of stuff. People want to follow along.
100%, 100%. And you don't need to be the face of your brand. You don't need to be the one creating content for your brand. Like, if you're terrified of getting in front of the camera and you're like, I just don't have any interest in that, you don't need to do it. But I will say, you are going to be at an advantage if 100%. You are willing to put yourself out there and get in front of the camera, tell your story, show the behind the scenes, tell people why you created the brand, why your brand exists, and you can create a powerful following of people. A lot of them, just the brand story alone can get them to buy. So yes, there is an advantage to doing that. And if you can do that, awesome. And I will say, yes, it's scary at first. Even for coaching, I was so terrified to get in front of the camera. I avoided it for so long. I didn't want to get in front of the camera. I just was scared. I was just terrified, like so many other people. But you know what? I said, screw it. I'm going to do this. I want to get the word out there. Yeah. And this is going to be a way that I can create a lot of organic content really fast and get it out there. And it was super terrible and cringy at the beginning. I was super awkward. My face was really red. I talked with no emotion. It was just so bad, like so bad. And I feel like it's come a long way. You put in the time, you put in the practice, and you just get better over time, like pretty much with anything. So I do encourage people to put themselves out there and get in front of the camera. Now it's fun. And I hope that it's like that for other people as well. So I just want to point out a couple of things, because there's so much here to kind of unravel, and this could be an episode on its own, just like the marketing strategy of Holstrength. But I want to start by talking about their organic marketing, because this is where we recommend that a lot of people start. Start with the free organic marketing to get your brand out there, to get your products out there, and to try to get them in front of the right people, your ideal target audience. And I think that they've just done such a good job of remaining insanely consistent in their content. Like, you look at their content, all you see is like Bible quotes with people in the gym, or hearing about their story. They don't go off brand. There's really like nothing random here. It's just really, really consistent. And these are the kind of pages that you see get like these passionate followers that are really dialed in, like really niche specific raving fans. And so they did such a good job of just always keeping everything on brand. A couple other things that I want to mention, a reason why I believe that they grew a lot on social media is that they really doubled down on the short form content. You can see like most of their posts are reels or TikToks. And in most cases, they're videos of fit-looking individuals, i.e. their ideal target audience, in a gym with a text overlay of something like a Bible quote with inspirational audio or music. Yep. This is really good, but I just want to say this would actually be very easy to create. Kerry, you and I could go to a gym. I would put on some workout clothes. I would sit on a bench, and I would tell you to take a 7-second video clip of me sitting on the bench looking like I'm pondering life, or with my hands together looking like I'm praying. Mm-hmm. And then we would throw an inspirational Bible quote over it, and we would have some trending audio or like trending music, and boom, we've kind of got their strategy. And they do it over and over and over and over again. Yep. Like, this is actually not that hard to do. And if someone was the face of the brand, like if I created a brand for Christians who lifted, I would absolutely like do a similar strategy because clearly it works. What are your thoughts on that, Kerry?
I'm literally looking at their reels right now, just on their Instagram, just like looking at the ones that are watched the most. It's nothing special.
Right? It's simple. It's awesome, but it's simple.
Yeah, it's great.
Simple sells.
I would say one thing I kind of am noticing is the ones that are getting, not every single one, but I've found a couple of them that are getting the more views that are like, they're kind of like lists, like three. So the first one I looked at was 3 things God wants you to stay away from. And then they actually used 3 Bible verses. Avoid people who put you down, Bible verse 1, and they show a girl. Conversation that involves hate and gossip, show a dude lifting, James, and the verse in James. And then avoid unnecessary drama, and then another dude. So like, and then I found another one that has I think this might be the biggest one I've seen, 1.2 million views, and it's 5 things Christians shouldn't be doing. And it's like a dude praying, and then it does the same thing. It's like 5 verses and 5 things: judging others, comparing yourself to others, being prideful. Like, but these reels are exactly the same. They're exactly the same. Like as soon as they change
formula over and over.
As soon as they change the text on the screen, they change to another person lifting. And it's like they're doing it exactly. And so one thing I would take from this is in the beginning, it often feels like you're kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? Like trying to figure out what works. You're trying to do all these different things. You're trying to get inspiration from other things, and you're trying to figure it out. When you find something that works, freaking just keep doing it. Just do more of it. Do it in different styles. Because, you look at these guys, I'm trying to kind of go back a little ways because I want to see like when they kind of discovered this formula. Because they've been doing the same thing for a while. And you see that here's one with 3.2 million views, which looks like it's a prayer. And it's this is from April 15th. Man, they've posted a lot. They have posted a lot.
That's another thing I wanted to mention about them. Very, very consistent. And that is a key to social media growth. One key being very niche specific and creating content always with your ideal customer in mind, which they did an absolutely incredible job on. Second, finding a viral strategy that works for them, which is short form content, which we mentioned, usually just someone sitting in a gym with an inspirational Bible verse or quote and trending audio over, and then just super, super consistent.
So I'm trying to scroll back. Okay, here we go. Maybe I'm getting closer. I'm trying to scroll back to like their older reels, but I'm literally scrolling forever because they're so consistent in posting. Yep. And I just want to get to maybe like something different. I mean, they've been doing this forever, dude. The same exact thing. Okay, when is this one from? This one is...
When you find something working, why change your strategy?
Like, I'm not kidding when I say
it still works.
I'm not kidding when I say I've scrolled through probably multiple hundreds of reels, and I'm only at December 2022, which was like 7 months ago. So I don't know. I could keep scrolling forever, but they have been very consistent with this formula, and they're posting sometimes multiple times per day. One other thing I would add is what I'm noticing as I scroll through all these reels is one thing I'm noticing is it looks like they recorded, like they just went into the gym one day, right? They had, let's say 10 or 20 different people, and they recorded like 500 shots of like, okay, we're going to do 30-second shots of, okay, Adrian, you're going to lean by the bar and like put your hands like this. And we're going to do that. And then and they had these scripted out, and so they got, okay, we're going to get 10 different shots of Adrian. Then we're going to go to the next model, 10 different shots, the next model, 10 different shots. Because what I'm noticing is they reuse a lot of the same footage and the same models. And that's what you do with content. Like I've done this before, this kind of similar thing where it's like, okay, I'm going to record all these different things and then reuse this here and here and here. So like, think about that. I mean, it's not that complicated. You look at this and you think like, oh man, how could they go every day and film somebody in the gym? Like, no, they literally set this up. They got 10 or 20 people. It might even been less than that. They recorded for 3 hours, right? And then that gave them content for the next 6 months. And then probably 6 months later, they did the same thing again, changed up some of the models, probably reused some of the same models. I'm seeing like this one girl, if you go to their reels, it's like the fourth one on the right, that chick with like the green kind of crop top thing on. I've seen her. I've seen her for the last year on here as I've been scrolling through. Like you'll see her again and again and again. The owner's on here. One of the brothers is on here like a million times. Anyways, you keep going forever, but it's not that complicated. They've got it down to a science, and they've been doing it forever. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, dude, they found their viral content strategy and they doubled down. They just kept doing it and they're still doing it. And this is what we teach people to do too. Find what works for you. Yes, it's going to be a testing, a feeling out process, a research process at the beginning. You try a lot of different things, the spray and pray method kind of, you just see what resonates with your audience. A lot of times you can get inspiration from competitors' pages and see what's resonating with their audience. A lot of times that same strategy will resonate with your audience, but they have found a strategy that works and they are not deviating away from it because it is still working. If you look at their newest content, it's still getting a ton of views. They're 162,000 views on the most recent reel that I see on here. Like they've got to figure it out. Another thing that I want to mention is they do a really good job of strategically keeping their design is like the primary focus of the videos. So one thing you notice is there's no distractions in the background ever. Like you don't see other people working out. There's no loud noises, it's all muted. And a lot of times they blur the background or they make it dark. And it just shows that really the hero of the image is the design. And a lot of times the athlete wearing the design, but they do a really good job of making the designs very prominent in their video content. So I just want to point that out as well, because I do think that's important. Sometimes people see reels or reels go viral and they go viral for not the reasons that you want them to go viral. And that can actually backfire on you. But these guys have really, they've really figured it out.
So moving on to the kind of the ads, I think this is kind of the last part of our marketing breakdown here. I've got their ad library pulled up, which is everything they're running on Instagram and Facebook. And so they're running a number of ads, and there's a bunch of things that we kind of noticed throughout their ads that you could definitely take some from. So number one, their designs are very prominent on their ads. They're easy to see, as we talked about. They're kind of right up there in the forefront. It's a mix of still images and video ads. You can tell they're kind of trying different things, but I would say I think their best ads are probably videos. And because I say that because there's definitely more video ads than there are still images, but also some of their longest running ads are videos. And this is one thing I would definitely take from a tactical standpoint, is that all of their video ads are in Reels format, like in TikTok format.
The vertical.
So 16 by 9, I guess would be the term, like the aspect ratio. All of them. There's not a
Vertical
single video.
videos. Yeah.
They've got 43 ads running. Not a single one of them, as far as the videos, are formatted any different. So that's something you could definitely take there.
Yeah.
So most of their ad copy is very simple, while also doing a great job of highlighting who their clothing is for. And I wanted to talk about their ad copy a little bit. It's like they don't put hardly any ad copy in there. Like if you're writing long ad copy in your ads, like stop. It's like you don't need to do it.
100%.
These are some of their ad copies. So stand bold in your faith. Oversized verse tees are back. Okay. Another one is just a verse. They just put a verse in there. I thought these were really funny. They have some ads that, this one's a video, like a Reels video, and it just says, use code FAITH for 10% off. That's all the ad copy.
Nice.
This is it.
Nice. Because the reel speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's probably a call to action in the reel.
Yeah, maybe.
New streetwear hoodies, represent your faith wherever you go. That's it. Like you don't need to do a ton. You don't need to overdo it. Right.
Dude, like the theme of this brand is simple. Yeah. Simple sells. And this brand is like blatant evidence of that. So often we see people that are really overthinking a lot of the aspects. They overthink their ad copy. They overthink their imagery. They overthink their call to actions. And I would tell people just simple sells, simple works. Like just use these people as an example. They're doing an amazing job. So like Kerry said, the ad copy is really short and brief. And then they just say premium Christian apparel. So they say what they are. And then right next to them, they have the call to action that says shop now. That's it. That's all there is to it. And I'm sure they're crushing it because they have a lot of ads running.
So one thing I would add is I wanted to talk about retargeting a little bit. So if you don't know what retargeting ads are, essentially what retargeting ads are is when somebody comes to your website, they view some products and then they leave your website, right? And then later on they go to Facebook or Instagram or another website. You can do this with Google. You can do it with probably TikTok, I'm sure, but they go over to one of these other websites, usually social media, and then they see the product on an ad that they were looking at earlier. I'm sure all of you guys have experienced this. You go and you look at your favorite website, and then you go over to Facebook or Instagram, and you start getting the ads for that product. So I know because they've done it to me, a lot of these ads are retargeting, and they're doing a great job there. And my guess as to why they are running so much retargeting ads. Now, this is kind of when you go to the Facebook ads library to look at a brand's ads, you can't see which ones are retargeting and which ones are going out to like cold traffic. So we don't know exactly how many that they're retargeting, but my guess is it's a lot because when I went to their website and then came back to social media, it was like for months I'm getting different ads from them, right? But I think why they're doing this so heavily, number one, because it's really profitable. Retargeting ads are always going to get you usually less cost for purchases. But number two is because they're driving so much organic traffic that they're running more retargeting ads, right? Like their TikTok, their Instagram, they're getting so much organic traffic that they're just retargeting them with ads. So that's something to note.
And that can be a crazy effective strategy. If you are driving a lot of traffic, if you're getting a lot of engagement on social media, to be able to retarget those people, that's so powerful. You got their attention without paid ads, and now you can bring them back with paid ads, with retargeting ads. So I think that's a really, really good point and 100% like worth mentioning. I'm really glad you brought that up.
I think that about wraps it up. Anything else you want to share? I mean,
There's so much to say, but I do think that, I think maybe we'll end it off there. I just want to reiterate kind of what we said earlier. If you guys enjoyed this, if you like this 7-figure brand breakdown, please let us know. And we will continue to do more of these. So you can email us at, is it support@sixfigurefounder.com? Okay. I think. Dude, I gotta get it together. Support at the number 6figurefounder.com. You can mention it in a podcast review. You can write it in the YouTube comments section, or you can DM us on social media at Kerry Egeler, KerryEgler, or me on Instagram at Ecom Legends Academy, exactly how it sounds. Or you can message me on TikTok at Adrian Von Arx. But we really want to know if you guys enjoyed this because this was so much fun. Kerry, did you have fun doing this? Like, this was so much fun.
I think this fires me up more than the other episodes. I'm gonna be honest. I got a little more excited for this because I love learning from successful brands, like just the stuff you can pull out of there because like it makes me want to go take action and be like, I want to try to do this. I want to try to do something similar for my own brands and different things. So it's exciting, dude. It gets me pumped.
Success leaves clues. Leaves clues. And you're totally right. I hope that this is very inspiring for the people listening, and this gets them excited and inspired to think, wow, look at this huge brand that's doing a lot of things very simply. Like, I can do this too, because it's so important, that we believe. And it's funny. I was just looking at their social media, and there was a Bible quote on there that's really powerful. It said something like, all things are possible to those who believe. Yeah. And I'm like, I 100% believe that. And I've actually always known that quote, but I didn't know it was actually from the Bible. And I've always loved that quote because belief is absolutely a requirement for success in this and probably any business, really. Like you have to first believe that you're capable of doing this, and then you take action. So let's end it off there. This was super awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. We hope you guys enjoy this episode, and we will talk to you very soon.
Peace. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Print on Demand Playbook podcast. If you enjoyed it, we would ask that you please leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening on. Just hit that leave a review button or just leave us a comment over on YouTube. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon.